Archons. We're gonna talk about this freaking piece of garbage. That's the piece of garbage, to be honest, though. This freaking dudes. Hmm. I remember it's not like watching a video about same with Porsche, to be honest, though. The same with Porsche. Basically, the video. I don't remember basically what's basically the title or what to be exact, to be honest, though. But basically, it's about it's basically about discerning entities in a nutshell, or basically imposter beings to the imposter being to the actual deities or Buddha. It was those freaking dudes there, freaking like those freaking dudes shaped it and accomplished himself. That oh my gosh, we're literally the divine beings, dude. We're the Buddha. Believe. That's freaking stuff there, to be honest, dude. And also as well there, and a person itself is just freaking like not really revering, but basically um giving energy to an entity, specifically like a negative one, or specifically like a negative, like a long time there, that your thought itself there was basically like, oh my gosh, your thought was about your lusting and such, but nah, it's freaking a demon. It's a freaking demon. It's an archon. It's a freaking archon. Those freaking things, to be honest, dude. And when people like hear like negative voices or thoughts, they're no, it's freaking demons. It is demons, dude. Freaking straight up, dude. Because I mean, it was freaking like, it was easiest freaking way, the easiest explanation and stuff there. So to be honest, this piece of crap there are cons there. For some freaking weird reason, they target the adrenal gland, or in a nutshell, there, um, really, it's really close itself there to obviously reproductive system there. And in a nutshell, I remember itself there that basically like I have like a like before I had a freaking like this attack, to be honest, like I don't freaking like panic attacks, to be honest there, because my mind before there were ridiculously clear there, and basically kind of like, I know it really sounds schizo there, but basically in hindsight, I was basically like attacked by freaking demons. I remember it's I was attacked by freaking demons, dude. I remember itself there like getting up, and what happened next day is just basically my freaking my freaking nose and my throat, not no, but my nose, I cannot even like freaking like barely freaking like breathe, to be honest, dude. It's not that I clog, but basically, oh my gosh, it's just basically just I need to freaking like use the inhaler in order to freaking like sustain myself there, to be honest, just before though. And now basically in a sense it's freaking like those things are freaking demons, to be honest, dude. And they even like freaking like attack you themselves there by will in a sense there, by will, or basically your ego in a nutshell though. That's pretty much it, to be honest, dude. The freaking like archons, or just reptilians, or just basically like archonic forces, to be honest, dude. Archonic forces, to be honest, dude. The discern this freaking piece of garbage is to be on piece of garbage is to be honest, dude. Is that basically to know their energy itself there, and basically their field there. You can immediately tell it's false. The stuff is false. The stuff is false. Like with the energy were really like too exuberant there. Like is it like flashy or something? And also as well, the certain artworks, they're obviously different from like signature really ridiculously negative to be energies, to be honest, dude. And not only about this freaking piece of garbage, to be honest, dude. Because a person itself will get an implant, or quote unquote downloads, but they really like implants there to them, the implants to them by this freaking piece of garbage, to be honest, dude. So yeah. Remember, as always, to know your weakness, of course. To know thyself, or just know your weakness. Know your weakness. But to be honest, this is the most fucking terrifying. The most terrifying part, to be honest, there. Is that basically there are some fucking idiot. I remember it said by basically like Garrett by or non-conformist gauge there, or Fresh Corbett. that basically said this thing there, or basically this channel basically said this thing there, that basically this dude's there say there that oh my gosh, you freaking need, oh my gosh, you need to integrate yourself there, or basically loving yourself there, not loving yourself but just the lower self there. Would you love your lower self itself there, in a sense not your ego but in love your lower self but innocence, but the lower function there, that innocence there, that oh my gosh, just accept there that you have this horny side, dude. Or I remember this fucking dude there, fucking like, there's a channel there that basically saying even much worse there, there's a fucking channel that basically said there the archons were really like a part of you and you have like an inner demiurge or something. That's a much fucking worse, to be honest, dude. That's a much worse, to be honest, dude. So yeah, when when contacting entities or channeling entities, or not really channeling but contacting entities there, this dude's itself usual this dude's usually this dude usually shapeshifts, to be honest there, because it's basically they're saying itself there that oh my gosh, we're the ego guys, believe that we are actually our ego, but basically when contacting basically some other beings there, they will shapeshift as such, and was as that, and you're not really challenging the actual entity itself there. You feel it, it's just you feel that you're being duped, and trust your feelings of course by that dude. Your intuition is trust your feeling, your intuition there. Because this freaking piece of garbage there were freaking like snakes, dude. Even some there, not only snake there, but basically they create freaking like they create basically they'll basically like insinuate a freaking problem, and this bait insinuate, but basically start a freaking problem, and basically they've created itself there, and just basically like offer solution or offer help there, and just basically I will help you from that stuff, to be honest, dude. I will give you like so much things, to be honest, dude. This is basically the freaking like stereotypical like freaking like what he expects for freaking like a cartoon Satan would be, to be honest, dude. Or Christian devil, like cartoony Christian devil, freaking like Sunday, the freaking like Saturday, freaking freaking cartoon, like cartoonish demon there. I will give you this, and that stuff there, and this, that stuff there, and basically, but this, and that stuff, but in exchange of course they allowing me to your body, of course, dude, or allowing me to sip some of your energies. That's basically it there. Or basically this freaking archons itself, there. It's just it, you know them in a nutshell. You know them in a nutshell there by their basically energy alone there, if they're freaking lying or not, dude. Or basically you're feeling they're either lying or not, to be honest, dude. It's a much worse than basically a person itself there, just basically this dude's freaking used like an idea of Faustian bargain there, or kind of sense an exchange, kind of idea of exchange, to be honest there. If this if basically if you are given that this stuff in, if you are given if ba- they will offer their guidance, they will offer their guidance in exchange of your energy, and also as well like some freaking like negative stuff, of course, though. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This freaking like piece of garbage, just to be honest, the archons there. To be honest, dude. And it's kind of like kind of like you're basically like freaking in this channel. There's this I kind of like come not really like come to a point there. There's a lot of stuff that is basically like unreleased like videos, to be honest, from me. Actually like I've created, to be honest there. Not like this video, but recordings though. That's kind of like for me there basically it kind of like incisive, and basically really like want to post some there. So yeah. But to be honest, I kind of like lacking of what to say to really, to be honest though. kind of like what the actually like discuss some kind of like ideas, to be honest, dude. And since there's some I don't know, to be honest, dude. Some critique, I guess, some critique of some concepts, or it's just basically kind of like this idea of just ranking NOS. To be honest, they're just basically like, I would say I kind of like feature an idea about framework review. What the heck is a framework review? It basically wants is to just following the freaking framework of Jung there. How would that person, it's how, not only how would that person, how would that benefit an individual, basically like an idea of Taoist, like ranking Taoist and Buddhism, the Taoist idea of Buddhism, New Age spirituality, or basically some frameworks itself there. It just basically rate them. That's it. Just rate them on how effective it was there to be how effective they was, to be honest there, with if basically they were used or integrated, incorporated. It's pretty much it though. So yes, kinda like that idea. Just scales out.